Thank you guys for submitting questions. I'm going to go through some of them and answer them for you guys. Monkey McPot asks, you've seen Zion shit his pants while skating twice in one day. Dude, it was when he was like 11 or something. He was so young, and we would always drive him around skating because we were friends with his brother, and we saw how good Zion was, and he wanted the street skates, so we would like take him around whenever we could. This particular day, we took him to like this 14 stair. Right when we got there, I don't even think the dude was there to shoot the photo yet, and like we were just walking into the school and tried to ollie it, and his board cracks like super loud. It like breaks, and we're all like, your board just broke, are you good? And he just like looks at us so bummed, and he's all, dude, I just shit my pants. And we're just like, what? Like, what? And then he like goes, dips around the corner, like takes his sock off, wipes his ass with his sock, and ditches his sock, and he still does the trick with no sock, which I also think is weird. And then we kept skating, and we went to this other spot. It's like this parking garage thing, like it's like a loading dock style, like pretty much just a drop into like a parking garage bank, kind of. He tried like a kickflip, I want to say, and same shit, like stuck a kickflip, and then his board didn't break, but he like shot out, and he was just looking at us like, dude, I just shit my pants again. And we're like, what the fuck? Like, what's wrong with you, dude? We didn't know what to think. That shit was crazy. But he had no more socks after that. So yeah, he just used both his socks to wipe his ass that day. Crazy. But he's like weird. He'll like skate with no socks. I've seen him do it before. When we were younger, he would just, I don't know how he did it. I've seen him before. It's so weird. The next question, you forced your way onto Cliche skateboards. It was kind of like my first real like sponsor or whatever, but James Craig was sending me Almost boards. I lived in San Diego at the time, and like I knew I wasn't gonna get on Almost. I was just like thinking it was like a superstar team and shit. I always liked Cliche more, and was like my favorite company. Still to this day, it's like my favorite company, even though it doesn't exist. But like it was something I always wanted to skate for. And then I asked James about it, and James was like, no, we can't do it. And then I was like, pretty much quit Almost just for nothing, just to like ride whatever. I was like either trading the boards I had, or like skating just like blanks, or like shop boards that I'd like, cover or whatever. And I was just filming with like either Cliche boards that I'd gotten my hands on, or like with blanks. And then I put footage together, and I remember I stayed up one night like super late, and I was just rifling off random emails, not really knowing if any of them would get through. But I was just like, I knew like Al, Jeremy, two dudes that like on the inside were like working for Cliche. So I was just like, Jeremy at Cliche Skate, Jeremy at like, just like trying random shit. And then I woke up that next morning with like a reply from Jeremy, and he was like, oh, like this stuff's sick, good shit kind of thing. And I don't think I like explained like I wanted to skate for Cliche. It was more like I was just trying to get a hold of somebody, or like get somebody's attention. So I think maybe for like 2 or 3 months, it was just me like sending Jeremy footage, and like eventually, like, probably after like the third time, he just like replied to me, and he like CC'd in like James and Al, and was like, you want to like get this kid boards, or like, and then James was like, all right, dude, yeah, sure, like whatever. So yeah, I kind of just like went around James, and I don't think James was bummed about it. Like, I don't know. I mean, James is a friend of mine now. I see him all the time, but yeah, this was. Yeah, I mean, I kind of forced my way a little bit of forced entry there. He also asks, after Cliche, Josh Kalis wanted you to ride for DGK. It was actually while I was skating for Cliche. When I first moved to Long Beach, I was like super beast skating, like always, like because I don't know how long until I had to like work a job or like do whatever I didn't want to do. So I was just always trying to like apprehend like, all right, I'm going to go to Cherry, even if I didn't feel like skating Cherry. I would just go there and skate. I think I just went right after like some DGK event had just happened, and I didn't even know about it. And I was just skating, and like Josh Kalis approached me, and he was all like, hey man, you get boards? And then I was just like, yeah, I get Cliche boards. And he's like, they take care of you? And I was just like, yeah, I mean, they're cool, like it's cool. And then he's all right man, you're good. And then he just like sat down. I mean, he didn't like offer me anything, but like, yeah, I mean, I just thought it was pretty gangster. that he even said it like that, just like in his own way, just like, all right, man, you're good. I was like, sick, dude, thanks. Burnett is the reason you went from Enjoy to Almost. Pretty much, he hit me up, pretty random. I was like shooting photos with Hammocky and a couple like just homies, and Burndog hit me up and was like, I want to give you an interview in the May issue, and I was like, okay, like kind of taken back, like I didn't really know what to think because I thought it was crazy. He was like, yeah, let me know if like who you want to do the interview with. I mean, I was skating for Enjoy at the time, so I was like, and I had just met Louis like maybe a month before, and I was like, oh, dude, like Louis would be sick. We just like hung out, went on a trip like together. Yeah, with Louis, it could be like an interesting read or whatever. So I called Louis and I told him, I was like, yo, Burndog just called me and was like saying I'm gonna have an interview. I want to see if you want to do it. And then Louis was like, wait, it's like in the magazine? And I was like, yeah. And then he was like, all right, I'm gonna call you back. And then he like hung up with me, called me back in like 10 or 15 minutes, and then was just like, oh, dude, I just like called Burnett and like had to make sure like that it was really in the mag and like this and that. I don't know. He's like, I mean, we like try really hard to get like our dudes in the mag like that, and like for you to do this on your own, like it's kind of crazy. Like I didn't expect you to like have an interview in Thrasher right now. And then I was like, yeah, me neither, honestly. So he was like, let me get back to you about like everything, because he's like, I don't really feel comfortable with you like just being like a flow guy and like just having like an interview in Thrasher. Like we should be able to offer you something, like I guess he called me back like 2 or 3 days later, and he was like, yeah, so we like spoke at Dwindle. Everybody was kind of talking about what we could do, and your name came up as someone Eunice liked, and Eunice wanted on Almost. And he was like, I'm not pushing you away, and I don't think like I'm giving you like an ultimatum or something. He's like, you can do whatever you want, like, but things could go a lot faster for you, and like you could be a part of something right now rather than waiting for us to like be ready for something. And so I was like, I want to talk to Eunice. No, I didn't know Eunice at all. Met him one time, but it was like when I was a little kid. But like there's no way he remembered that. Yeah, and then we spoke to each other through like Instagram and shit, and then yeah, he just kind of vocalized like, yeah, I want you a part of this. Max is getting on. This was like before Max was like publicly on and shit, and I was like always a fan of Max, so to me I was like, dude, this is like almost was leaning in the direction of Cliche. Cliche is like doesn't exist anymore, but it kind of felt like, oh, they're putting Max on, like Eunice is running this whole thing, and like what it was like prior, just like an elitist brand or whatever, just like a bunch of superstar skaters. And I thought it was super cool that Eunice is one of my favorite skaters. He always has been. So I was like, yeah, I'm down. If you have my back, like I'm into it, Yeah, so I ended up doing the interview with Louis, and it was just like kind of me transferring over to Almost and everything. Yeah, without Burnett giving me the opportunity to be in the mag, I don't think it would have put the pressure on Dwindle to have that conversation, or like for me to even be mentioned, or like, everything kind of snowballed from like those dudes putting me in that mag, that issue. So, I mean, it's cool. It's crazy, like when you dissect it like that. But yeah, pretty much in a weird, indirect way, Burnett is part of the reason I skate for Almost now. Thanks, Burndog, if you're watching this. How much hate did you get choosing to ride for Venture instead of Thunder way before the current resurgence of the brand? It wasn't exactly hate. It was more like, I mean, Nate Alton's a really good friend of mine, and I knew Nate before Bram, and Bram's the Venture team manager, and like Nate had been sending me wheels for probably like a year prior to me riding for Venture. I was skating other trucks, and then I hit up Nate and was like, yeah, I wanna ride for something out of Deluxe. And then he was like, yeah, dude, like we got you on Thunders, like sick. I kind of want to ride for Venture. And then he was like, what? Like, oh, and I mean, he wasn't like giving me shit, but he was more like concerned. He was like, yeah, dude, honestly, I don't really know what those guys are doing. Like, and then I was like, yeah, I don't know. I fuck with Venture. I always have. It's just cool. He was like, all right, yeah, I could link you up with those guys. And so then I ended up skating for Venture. Yeah, this is way before. This was like almost like more than 5 years ago. Yeah, I started skating for Venture, but ever since then, like, when Bram's like out of town, or like if I ever need a box and like Nate has to hook me up, or like somebody else. Like if Nate or Christian Alexander or somebody like puts it together for me, I would like get the box and it would just have some Ventures in it, and then it would have like a set of Thunders in it with like some Thunder stickers, and it would just be like Thunder tees and like, yeah, they just send me like I probably still have some of it, but they would always like just send me random shit for like a while. They'd probably still do it right now if I asked them for a box, but they just love giving me shit. Tell us about your bail in the beginning of your Florida Days 2-part. Pretty much, I hardly remember anything about it, to be honest. I fucking, all I remember is like catching the trick primo and then just thinking like, oh, it'd be better if I landed on it than bailing. And then it's almost like I fucking blink, and then I'm just like in a paramedic, like in an ambulance, like with this neck thing on me, and I just remember freaking out about the neck thing. Like I was like, dude, get this thing off me, and they're like, oh, you hit your head skating, and I'm like, what? And then I would like forget it and then remember it again, like remember what was happening like 2 seconds later and be like, dude, get this thing off me. And it was like I had to like stay in the hospital overnight, and like they were tripping because somebody showed them the footage of like what happened, like the seizure. I mean, I don't remember any of that. I don't like I was skating like the very next, right when they let me out of the hospital, but they're like, don't do anything for like 6 months or whatever. Like, and I was like on a trip out here. I didn't even live here yet. So I was just like, dude, I'm skating. Like, yeah, they were tripping twice as hard because they saw the footage of what happened. So they were like, oh, he's got to stay here and like take all these tests to make sure his brain's not like fucked up or like whatever, like other shit's not fucked up. It was pretty fucking crazy. All my friends were super scared. Like, I remember when I went out skating like the next like 2 days later or whatever, everybody felt like they acted like they'd seen a ghost or some shit. They were like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you like I just came back from the fucking dead or some shit.
So you didn't have any like recurring?
Oh, no, you know, it's funny, the reason that's at the beginning of the part is like, you can kind of see in the very opening trick in the part, I like kickflip over this rail in Long Beach. Yeah, I kickflip over this rail in downtown Long Beach, and I have the hospital band on me. Like I had just gotten out of the hospital.
It does the same day?
Yeah, it was the next day, because I like probably stayed the night that night, and then they let me out the next morning. The Unknown Soldier asks, what's your favorite Pokemon? And I don't really have a favorite. I like all the fire type Pokemon. I don't really have like one favorite. Like there's so many sick ones. Like, I mean, I'm not even familiar with the newer ones that come out.
Like the OGs.
Yeah, I'm like more doing like the nostalgic shit about it. Like if I even like dabble in the actual games, but I just play like Pokemon Go because it's like it's cool when you're traveling. Like if I'm like going new places, it's like something to do on my phone, and it's like some dumb way to be like, oh, I'm somewhere new. Like you can like interact with it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I probably had both like at a certain point. Oh, definitely red, dude. If I were to play any, it would definitely have been red. But I remember the yellow one too, where like you had Pikachu and shit. But I didn't really play too much after like the original games. I don't think. Maybe I played like the gold and silver one, but yeah. But then it was like I kind of like lost my attention. But it was. I mean, it's always like I always fucked with it. It's always cool. Like there's other games that incorporate Pokemon in it, and you're like, yeah, fuck it. But I'm just not so familiar with the new ones. Snowman 600 asks, who are some of your favorite switch backside flippers? Tyler Surrey, he does a great one. Brad Cromer, Blake Carpenter, Walker Ryan, and I can't think of it. Or Lucas Puig. But those dudes all do it right. They do it well. Straight asks, which skater would you trade to be for a day? Gustav Tonneson. I would definitely want to be that guy for a day and just know what it's like to skate like that. He also asks, what do you think happens when you die? I would like to think like reincarnation, like you die and then you're like born again instantly into something else. That's an exciting way to think about it. But who knows, dude? Ed Boy asks, who are some of your favorite manual skaters? There's so fucking many. Eunice, Walker Ryan, those two are like the first dudes I discovered doing what they do with manuals. Yeah, in a way that like really grabbed my attention and like showed me like, oh, this is something that you can do with manuals that makes it like way more interesting, at least for me. But there's been so many people since then. Like Tyler Surrey is another crazy manualer. Flo, Mertain. There's like so fucking many. I like Anthony Schultz a lot, even though people don't think of him as like a manualer. He does like some really cool manuals. He also asks, what's your dream sponsor outside of skating? Fucking these motherfuckers right here. There was a point where they were sending me packages, but like it was never like any, like it was just like random. Point and Click asks, what trick do you feel looks the best when you do it versus feels the best when you do it? That's an interesting question. A trick that it always feels bad for me, but when I watch it, I'm always like, oh, it wasn't as bad as it felt, is a 360 flip. I'm just terrible at tray flipping. Like regular, I'm so bad at it. I don't know what it is. I'm just like, they're never consistently the same feeling, and they always feel kind of like floppy and stupid. Yeah, and then when you watch it, or when I'll see like the one I thought was awful, and I'm like, oh, it just looked normal. But they never feel satisfying, ever. Like I'm always just like, that was so bad. But then I would like land the line, and I'm like, oh, it was, people probably wouldn't even conceive it the way I did. Versus what feels the best when you do it. I mean, maybe like some embarrassing trick. I don't know, like a Rick flip feels pretty cool, but it probably doesn't look as cool as it feels, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, just some of those kinds of tricks, like a big flippy trick. Tuna asks, what are your least favorite manual tricks? Which ones do you generally dislike seeing? I mean, I feel like every trick can be done well. It just takes like the right person. I know that's not the answer people want to hear. Actually, there's one thing that really gets on my nerves, and it's not even a trick. I need a board to demonstrate it. So if you're manualing, and let's just say fucking whatever you're doing, like a kickflip nose manual, and you're like here, like you get in like this, like doing this action is all good, like you gotta wiggle like this foot. But when this foot moves and this foot moves, like if you're like this, you ever see people do that? Dude, I'm like, why couldn't you just do it again? Or like, not like you'll be like tray flip, nose manual, and then it's like nollie tray, and you're like, dude, that looked so crazy. Like it's not even like a trick, but when people do that, I'm like, this is fine. This is like fluid. It looks good. It's like, it's not like, it doesn't look so frantic and crazy, but then when it's like both are you're hopping around to move just to get your like big flip out or whatever, I'm like, fuck, man. It just looks so funny to me. I don't like nose manual nollie heels, really. They kind of dribble. I have yet to really see anybody do it the way I like to see it done. Like, most of the time, they're just like they just hit the ground. He also asks, what is your spirit animal? A tiger, for show. I've always had this, like, weird fascination with tigers since I was, like, a little kid. My mom always told me, like, on all my birthdays until I was, like, 10, I would make her take me to the zoo and just party at the tigers like exhibit, and every year until that age I was a tiger for Halloween, like really obsessive. And to this day I fuck with tigers heavy. Like I think they're super sick. I don't know, I've just always thought about like ways to incorporate them in my life. I got like tiger paintings in my room and shit. Like seriously, I found one in China when I was in China. I got one. There's one in our bathroom like that we just found. They're sick. Yeah, I fuck with tigers. He also asks, what is your preferred shake junk grip color? Probably like this one. Just like black with the green. Like, yeah, I mean, this is like T-Funk's grip, but I just like when it's like green with the yellow behind it, but black grip. Like, I don't go too crazy. I just like whatever keeps me sane. Like, I don't know if I had too much color.
Solid black with the little shit.
Yeah. I mean, I have like solid black on right now. I don't know, like I'll go in phases. If I start riding just straight black, it's really hard for me to go back to that, which I'm kind of in right now. I've been riding like straight black for the past like 5 or 6 boards. I'm like, fuck, like it's gonna be hard. And I'm like running out of just straight black, so I have the others, and I'm like, god damn it. But then, yeah, I'll like go in little like phases where I'll just ride just the big logo, and it's cool. Like it doesn't. If I'm doing it for a while, it doesn't bug me as much. But like that first transition, I'm always like, oh god damn it. Victor Doom asks, did you always lean toward manuals growing up skating? Not really. What's funny is I kind of leaned away from them. A lot of like close friends of mine know this. I always thought manuals were pretty whack. I don't know how I even like got kind of good. I think there's just like maybe 1 or 2 manual tricks that I really wanted to learn. Like I always wanted to like nose manual nollie flip. Just some basic ones. Like I didn't really think they were too cool. I always wanted to be like jumping off big shit, and like I always bought like zero boards and shit. Like I like wanted to be this like gnarly skater, but I just wasn't. I mean, to the extent I could, like Florida doesn't really have like humongous things to skate, nor does it like. And I wasn't like a rail skater. I did manual tricks almost as like I knew I could, but it wasn't like what I wanted people to notice me for or whatever. Once I kind of like accepted that I was like a man, like I was like, yeah, more like, oh, I'm just gonna embrace like this is kind of what I do. This is what people see me as or whatever, and I could do them. Like I was able to do it. I would always just do manuals on the ground. The skate park we would skate was right beside these hockey rinks, and we would always get kicked out of the skate park because we had to wear helmets. So when they would kick us out, the hockey rinks were lit up until the same time the skate park was. So we would just skate in the hockey rinks if there wasn't like a hockey game going on. We would just like set up benches and trash cans and shit. And I would always like, I just remember being in there like doing like flat ground manuals like always, like just fucking around, like just thought it was funny, you know. Didn't think there was any like real things that I was like establishing. Like I didn't think it was actually affecting like what I was going to do with my skating. Yeah, I think that's like snowballed into what I do now, or what people think people probably think I just do that shit because it's like, I don't know, other people are kind of doing it or like, oh, it'll get attention, but it's like, dude, I've kind of done it my whole life, and I would always have these urges like, dude, what if you could just fucking go over this bumped bar to nose Manny? Like I would always think shit like that. I would never act on them because I always was like, oh, it's like a dork trick or something, you know, like, oh, it's like ridiculous. I guess I always leaned away from manuals growing up, but then once I kind of embraced it, I would just do it everywhere. Like everywhere I went was like, oh, manual pad on the floor. Like it was kind of a joke that we made when we were at a shitty spot too. We'd be at a shitty spot and I'd be like, oh, there's a manual pad right here. You guys didn't see it, did you? And we just like start manualing the ground, and you know, yeah, it was pretty funny.
Do you ever audio or something to regular manual, or it's only
I don't know. I just something about. I mean, I've done switch ones. I just didn't have the desire to do it as much because I'd seen it done before. I probably could. I probably never have just gone straight over something to manual, unless it's like maybe at skate parks or like just something fucking around. But like never filmed one now, just straight to regular Manny. But I don't. Yeah, I don't know. The fascination wasn't there. The nose Manny, I was like, I've never seen it. Like everybody, I've seen bumped bar to Manny's. I've never seen one to nose Manny. So I was like super. And then yeah, I kind of just fixated on that, and it was like. Chuck Ramon asks, have you skated with Rodney Mullen? Unfortunately, I haven't. But hopefully one day. Everybody at Dwindle, like Eunice and Louise and all these guys, they're always like, oh, you'll meet him and you'll never expect the time that you do because he just shows up whenever he wants. So like, they're like, yeah, one day he'll just walk in here and he'll be right here. And then I'm just like, what? I mean, fuck. Sounds like a mythical creature or something. Kind of is. Dude's pretty epic. Skate or Dingus asks, is there a basic trick that you can't get the hang of? If so, which one? I mean, like I said earlier, tray flips have always given me fucking troubles, like my whole life. I don't know why. The minute I learned them switch, I was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna run with this. This is way better. I don't know what it is. Like I know Blake has like a similar. Blake tells me he has like a similar thing because he was like, oh, once I learned to switch, I was just like, oh, for sure, like that's just the one. Like, but it's weird why can't. Because, I mean, I can kick flip, I can switch flip, I can heel flip, I can switch heel. The tray flip, I don't know what it is. My ankle just doesn't scoop the same or something. I just don't have the same rhythm or something. It's just so weird. But, yeah, tray flips have always been a struggle for me. Adam Abbas asks, please give us a good Eunice story. I have a pretty interesting Eunice story, and it's, I mentioned it a little bit earlier when we were explaining Eunice reaching out to me. When I was like 19, I think, or something, I don't know. It was like 2013, 2014. James used to give me almost boards, so I was living in Florida, I think, at the time when he started giving me almost boards, and I went to Tampa Pro, the only Tampa Pro I've ever been to. Eunice was there. It was right when Eunice had turned pro. Just watching, and like Eunice took his run. He skated terrible, I think. He was super mad. And then he walked up the course and walked like right like out where I was, and then turned and like just stood right beside me. And I remember I was wearing an almost shirt, and I don't know if maybe it was because I had like an almost shirt on or something, but he like felt like, oh, this kid will listen to me. He seriously just stood beside me and just started venting to me so much shit. He was just like, fuck like, this stupid contest, I don't even want to fucking be here. And I was like, dude, what? And like, he was super mad, and like, he was like talking to me though. He wasn't really like just shouting shit at me. He was like, oh, like a lot of personal shit. It got like real personal, and I was like, dude, this is crazy, you know? And I'm like fanning out because I'm like a fan, and I'm also just like, he's being real with me, which is cooler than if you were just like, oh, what's up, I'm Eunice, blah. Like, you know, like he was like, man, I don't want to be here, fuck this. And I was just like, damn, that's crazy, you know? And he's like, yeah, like, what the fuck are you doing here, or whatever. And we were just like talking, and I was like, dude, this is pretty fucking sick. Yeah, we just like bro down for a little bit, and I don't even think we exchanged names at all. I don't even think it was like that. I seriously think he just saw I was wearing like an Almost shirt, and was like so mad that he just needed to like vent. And he was just like, oh, this kid will fucking listen to what dumb shit I have to say. And then when we met up for the first time, like, again, like when I started skating for Almost, I brought up to him, I was like, dude, do you remember at a Tampa Pro, you had these like tennis ball colored Nikes on? Like, I was trying to like jog his memory, and he was like, I don't know, I just remember being real angry or whatever. I was like, dude, it was me that you just like vented everything to, like your whole life story. You're like telling me all this personal shit. And he's just like, for real? And I'm just like, yeah, dude, like what the fuck are the chances of that? And he's, nah, he doesn't really remember it, but he was just like, no way. Like, I was like, I don't even remember doing that, but like, it's so fucking random.
Coincidentally, he wants you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but this was way before. There's no way anybody knew who I was, you know. But it was like, I was just like some kid in Florida skating. Has wrecking ball made you more aware of touching on a manual? You know when you do it, and you know when you don't do it. Whether it's like you hear your wheel touch, or like you know the feeling of the make. Like, you just know the feeling of the make. And I'm not sitting here saying I haven't. I already know when I fuck up, you know what I mean? I think what he's doing is super fucking funny. I think it's like he's just serving justice to the people that think they can pull fast one or whatever. But it's like, it's harmless, that like, whatever. Like, he's told me that he's like, I've got a compilation of all the times you fucked up. And when you go pro, I'm going to just fucking post this shit. Yeah, and I was like, all right, dude, bring it. I mean, fuck.
I told John Dillo I have a 2-minute edit of all of his scrapes, wheel taps, everything. And we're going to show it at the video of his pro party. We're going to have it on the big screen.
Okay, there you go.
When that happens,
First
if
you need
it
a birth
does,
sponsor.
then you'll get on the show, John.
That sounds pretty sick. Have a pro party with that, with just like a fucking video on loop of me getting roasted. It'd be pretty fucking sick. I mean, he's definitely rattled up like a handful of. I've been on sessions with people where they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna get whacked." I think more for like established pros, they're the ones that are shook. He's the ones they're after. You know what I mean? Where like someone like me, it's like, I don't know. If I went pro fucking tomorrow, it's like people like, it's not as big of an impact as like Beeble or like those dudes, you know, because they have like a legacy of like manuals, and he's just fucking them up throughout their whole like. He's almost like breaking apart. Yeah, exactly. And it's like that's what made them who they are. So it's like I feel like they get way more like insecure about it. He also asks, kickflip nose mail over the frost rail. Walk us through before, during, and after. The day I did it was actually the second time I'd gone there. I went there one time. It was like right before dark or something, and we were in the area, and I was like, oh, let's just go check it or whatever. And I think I tried like, I was like rushing. I was like super panicking because it was getting dark, and I knew I could do it, and I was just like, oh, like, there's no way I can do it in like 15 minutes, like, you know? So I was getting super frustrated like the first time we went, just because I couldn't kickflip over the rail good, and like, that's literally what that trick is. Like, you're not going to do a shitty kickflip to nose mail over that rail. So I think I just like focused my board. I got super mad the first time we went, and then the second time we went, I knew, like, dedicated like the whole day pretty much. It was like me and my friend Kaylin, and we were just like, all right, we're going to the spot, and I don't know how long it's going to take. It might be all fucking day, but we're going to do this trick or whatever. We were there, seriously, dude, it may have been like 4 hours. Like, it was so long of me kickflipping over that rail, and like, I didn't get close to any except the one I did. Like, I didn't even like get into a nose mail, I don't think, until like the one I did. It was just like kickflip, kickflip, kickflip. It was probably like 150 kickflips more than that over that, or like just over the rail. And like Kaylin would be like, oh dude, we came all the way here, you might as well just like keep trying it until like, you know, you either do it or like something happens that's gonna keep you from doing it, like we get kicked out or some shit. And I was like, all right, fine. So I remember like mentally giving up one time, and then like continuing and kind of just thinking like, fuck, I can't do this. And then fucking Kalen went on his phone, and it was after like 2 hours of me trying it. He like went on his phone and he was like, dude, Chase just won fucking X Games Real Street. It was like that day that they like posted it or some shit. So, and I mean, Chase is a friend of ours, so we're like, dude, what the fuck, you know? And then I was like, all right, fuck this. I'm going to land this trick for sure. Like, fools are winning fucking gold medals at X Games. I'm fucking going to land this goddamn trick. So, like, yeah, seriously, Chase won X Games, and then I was, like, so determined to do it after that. And then, yeah, like another hour, and then I did it. And then we went somewhere else with Zion after that. Zion did some crazy trick. Like, the whole day was crazy. Fools were just doing, like, I did that trick, and then it was still kind of early, so we went to another spot, met up with Zion. Zion did some crazy trick. Yeah, that day was pretty beast. Fools, gold medals, and fucking tricks were going down. I remember it felt like you know how in GTA you can, like, when you play as a certain character and you're in the car, you could slow down time and swerve through cars and shit. I was, like, in the nose manning, and it felt like I was, like, slow-mo, like, oh, don't, like, nothing can happen. I just have to do this, like. And there was like there's like a crazy gutter dip and shit, so I'm like weaving, like thinking about where I'm gonna go, and like never got to that point, so I don't even know what it's gonna be like. Yeah, I just remember feeling like it was slow-mo, and I had to like navigate through it all, like do 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 do. He also asks, have you ever received praise from a pro or am who you've never interacted with but greatly respect? I mean, fuck, like all the time, kind of. It happened. I mean, now it's like I kind of know a lot of skaters, or like I'm familiar with a lot of like dudes that live out here that are pro or whatever. But when I first got here, for sure, like I remember one time I was at the barracks. I don't think I'd met Ashad yet or anything. Like maybe like briefly, like shaking hands and exchange names. But I mean, we didn't really know each other. We probably hadn't even met yet or whatever. But I remember I was skating like the little mani pad in the barracks, and Ashad came in and he was just like taking laps like right when he got in the park. He didn't really like stop and say anything to anybody, and he was just skating like in circles, and we would like watch him in between when we would go. And there was just like one time he like our paths crossed. Like I fell skating the mani pad, and then he was like picking up his board or something. We were standing right near each other, and he just looks at me and he's like, "You do some fucked up manuals," and then he just left. And then I was just like, "Thanks, dude. Like, what the fuck?" Like I just thought it was so random. I was like, "Yeah, no, it wasn't even like we were acquainted at some point probably before that, but like not well, like we didn't know each other." But I just thought it was funny because I was like, damn, that was pretty sick, you know? That's fucking crazy. Double Steve Burger says, hey John, big fan, was curious what your take on this would be. Out of all the Pokemon, would you rather pee out a marble or poop out a softball? I did not. When I was thinking of a softball, I was thinking of a fucking tennis ball. Like, this is way gnarlier. Dude, I don't want to pee out anything, like, at all, ever. So definitely poop out this, but that would suck too. They're both awful. Woost asks, who would you add on Almost if you had the chance? Ryan Lay. Because Ryan Lay's like my favorite skater ever. And yeah, we've gone on a couple trips. There was like a summer where we went on a trip together for like Altamont like a few years ago. But even before that, like he's just like my favorite. Yeah.
He's gotten better as he got.
Exactly. Yeah, he's just. I couldn't even like say one thing about why. It's like, it's almost like subconscious too, because he'll have footage come out, and I won't even be like overwhelmed about it when it first comes out. I'll be like, oh, that was sick. And then 2 weeks later, I'll find myself like, I've watched it every single day, which like today, finding something like that you can really cling on to and like stoke yourself out that much. And it's happened with like every single bit of footage Ryan's ever put out. Like every welcome video part, anytime he has footage that's on YouTube that I can find, I'll like binge watch it for like a month. Yeah, he's the shit. But yeah, if I could add anybody, it'd be Ryan Lay for sure. Concerned Parent asks, if you could convince Almost to do a Pokemon series and every rider got a board with a different Pokemon on it, which would you choose? That probably wouldn't even take much convincing. I feel like those dudes, if they could get the fucking licensing, they would do it for sure. I'd probably be this dude. He's fucking beast. Arcanine, he's like this fucking fire dog, dude. He's pretty sick, dude. That would look sick on a board. Where is he? This dude would probably be Yuri. I don't know why. Yuri gives me like little fucking like monkey homie vibes. Brazil. Yuri would be this little chimchar. Oh, dude, this would be Eunice for sure. Eunice would be Krabby because he's just crabby as hell. So this one would be Eunice. And then, Max is this dude. Just because Pepe Le Pew, he's the skunk dude. He's this fucking skunk dude because of the French, I forget his fucking name. The Looney Tunes character. And then, yeah, Rodney would just be fucking Pikachu or some shit. Just like one of the GOAT characters. Yeah. He'd just be like some legendary shit. Like, he'd be the GOAT. What's a manual trick you've always tried but you could never get? Back 180, like switch manuals. Just a regular back 180 switch manual. I struggle with it so much, and I've always wanted to do a back 180 switch manual, switch flip out. And I've tried it so many times, and I can never do it. But I've gotten really close. Yeah, I think I've seen Danny Funzalita do it before. I've done like nollie back 180 manual switch flip before, but no matter the distance of manual pad, no matter how I do it, yeah, I just can't. Like I'm constantly doing this. There's never like it's like in Tony Hawk how you have the fucking you can never find that like center. The needle's never in the center, dude. It's fucked up. I do that. Yeah, that front 180 manual is such a different trick than the back 180 manual. Back 180 manual, I don't know what it is. It's like I can never go straight. I've tried so many different ways, different manual pads, just never works. Being a manual guy, are you mental about your setup always being the same, or do you try and play with board shapes and dimensions? I mean, I've like rode a shape for like over a year, so I mean, I'm pretty like, I'll be like a fucking little baby if I don't have like my board, you know. Like I'll skate other shit, but
You don't have like separate setups.
Oh hell no. I read an 8.5 always. Yeah, I don't have like two different setups.
Yeah. You want to show your setup?
Okay. Yeah, it's a 8.5, and then these are like the bigger ventures that came out recently. They're like 6.1, so I think they're like a little bigger than my board. I don't know. I've always wanted like the 151 style Thunders. Like I've always wanted like that size truck because Venture always made like 5.8, which is like probably suitable for the board I ride, but I just always wanted like a little bit bigger. Like Foy and everybody I know kind of rides these trucks, like but Thunder version. So I was like, I just always wanted to know what it was like if I'd like it more or whatever. And then it's cool. I mean, just more grinding surface. And I feel like just having a heavier truck, I don't know if it makes any sense, but I feel like having a heavier truck helps you pop. I don't know why. Like it's more to throw around or something. Yeah, these are 53 millimeter wheels, I think, and then yeah, just classics. But yeah, these ones are 101s. I'll change like the durometer of the wheels depending on like where I'm gonna skate or like what I'm gonna do. Like if I've definitely changed my wheels to try certain manual tricks before. I'll ride whatever shape. I don't really care. Yeah, I'll skate like whatever the fuck they send me because there's like times where they don't have these or they don't have like
it's that popular.
Yeah, and so yeah, I'll ride like whatever the shape is. I don't really care, but the durometer for sure will affect like doing like certain like pivots or like manuals or whatever.
The manuals are more like grip.
Yeah, they're stickier, and then these ones are more like just slippery. So, but yeah, usually this is pretty much my setup always though. I don't have two setups. I don't have a little board. They're underlay bearings. Yeah. Steven's lawyer asks, what's the best 180 and what's the worst 180? My favorite 180, it's probably a tie between a nollie back 180 and a switchback 180 because I think they both have their cool things about them. Like if you're going to nollie back 180 over like something tall, like that's fucking crazy because you're turning blind, you're rolling away switch, and you're popping nollie. Yeah. And it's like, probably just nollie back 180 is cooler than the switchback 180, I'd say. Because switchback 180, you're just landing regular. So it's like, nollie back 180 is just hard all the way around. You're popping off the front. Yeah, like if the ground's shitty, like it's probably just you're popping shitty, or like, yeah, you're not seeing, you're rolling away switch. Yeah, nollie back 180 is probably the cooler one. And then the worst one's easily a switch front 180. Easily. Yeah, easily. Yeah, no. Switch front 180 is definitely the worst 180. Cuban Links asks, how do you feel about skating handrails? You jump over them a lot. Was there a bad experience or just not a fan? I've been skating them a little more, skating with Jamie and shit, but it's funny. I kind of have like, in my brain I have like, not a story, but like I used to rationalize it as a kid, like one of the first videos I ever saw was like New Blood Zero video. I just remember this was seriously like I just started skating. I think like maybe a week earlier, and like my mom got me that skate video. So I was like, this was like my first exposure to like pro skating. I got like 3 at once. I think it was like my birthday. My brothers got me, like it was like my 2 brothers and my sister got me skate videos. So it was like Good and Evil, Almost Round 3, and New Blood. But I remember watching New Blood a lot because I was a huge fan of Chris Cole. I really liked Chris Cole. Yeah, they're all really different, but what I took away from mostly the Zero video and maybe the Toy Machine video, but like rail tricks, I can't tell who is who when they're doing a rail trick. Like everybody looks the same. Like that dude backsmithing this rail, that dude, and I didn't even know the name of tricks, but like that dude doing that trick and that dude doing that trick, it's like they all have black clothes on, they all have long hair, like they look the same. Like it wasn't cool to me. I was just like, if I did a trick on a hand, like on a rail like that, you wouldn't even know it was me, or like, you know, like there's just no character to it. Where like John Alley, a lot of flip tricks were in his part, and I liked his part a lot. And Chris Cole did a lot of flip tricks. Like everybody, like the flip tricks, I thought like, oh, this dude kickflips like that, like he looks different, and then this dude kickflips and it looks completely different, and then this dude like everybody can kickflip and it's so different. There's so much like more character in it. When I was a kid, it was just like I was like, I thought it was boring. Like I didn't think it looked exciting. I didn't think it was like it showed much of like who you were. I don't know what it was, but in my mind I was like, I don't know. It never like got me excited. That was like me back then kind of rationalizing it. Now it's like I don't even have rail tricks realistically. Like I can do like some basic shit. I can skate a flat bar. I've gotten better at it skating with like Foy and everybody, but like I'll dabble with it. The almost part that came out, we actually filmed a rail trick and it got deleted. It was the only rail trick. I switched lip slid this like 8 or 9, but it was like mellow, kind of tall. I did it a couple times, and then we got kicked out super gnarly that night. And then like the footage got deleted, and I was like, dude, should we even go back? Like I don't even like, we'll fucking get arrested probably. Like yeah, we were just like, fuck it. And I just thought it was pretty like ironic that the only rail trick in the part got deleted. Yeah, and my theory is like, because we were skating with a group of people, and I'm the only one that landed the trick on the rail. So like my theory is like my homie who is capturing the footage probably just forgot that I did a trick because I wouldn't have skated it normally. So maybe he just like deleted all the footage. Yeah, we didn't get anything that night, so he just deleted it all. And then like I was like, yeah, I mean, I'd think like that too, because you wouldn't think that I skated that, you know?
That sounds weird.
Yeah, it sounds pretty likely story, but yeah, it's pretty funny. Shralp Pal asks, it took you a while to find a home until your recent move to Almost. Without naming names, how hard did you get vibed by some of the team riders on other brands? Can you give an example? Yeah, I won't speak on a brand or names or anything, but there was this one particular time at an agenda that I got fucking, it was crazy how vibed out I got. It was like, what? No, this is before. This was like a couple years ago. I was somebody hit me up at this brand. They hit me up and were like, yeah, it'd be cool to give you boards. And I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. Like, you know, I don't have anything going on. It was right after Cliche went out. So I went to Agenda because I was like, oh, those dudes will have a booth at Agenda, you know? Like, I'll see these guys, whatever. I know a handful of those guys already. Like, it wouldn't be that weird. So I went to the Agenda booth, and first people I saw, like people I didn't really know, and then the owner of the company came over to me and was like, oh, what's up? Did you get that box? And I was like, nah, it hasn't come yet. And it had only been a couple days. I wasn't tripping, you know, I wasn't tripping. And he was just like, oh, okay, like, let's go talk to team manager about it or whatever. And so we walk over to the dude, and instantly company owner starts freaking out at team manager dude. And they're just like, dude, this is our guy. Like, what, like, you gotta make sure he has this, like, where are his boards? Like, you haven't even, like, introduced yourself. Like, what's going on? And they're, like, bickering for real. And I was, like, laughing because I was, like, thought they were fucking around. And maybe they were, but I was, like, I didn't make a big deal about this, you know? This dude is. So I was, like, whatever. And then team manager dude looks at me and he's like, hey, man, so if you got a problem from now on, you should probably just take it up with me. And then I was just like, okay. And then shit got real tense. I remember people were looking at me, people were like reading the scenario, like, what the fuck's going on, you know? Like, are these two gonna fight? And I was like laughing because I was like, dude, I did nothing here. I literally just showed up. And then he's like, yeah, like don't go behind my back telling my boss like talking shit, or he said something like I was talking shit, and I was like, dude, what? And then I just left. I was like, yeah, I'm kind of over it, and like the boards hadn't even come to my house yet. I remember I got an email like right after the boards came. I don't even know if I skated them. The boards came, and then I got an email, and it was just like, hey man, like I don't think things are gonna work out. And I was just like, yeah, dude, definitely not. So I was like, that was fucking insane. Like you threw me under a bus. Like I was just thinking it. I was like, this dude just like came at that guy like I was tripping or something. Like I don't know what was going on, you know? Like there was like maybe there's some tension between those two, and then they just took it out on me. I don't know what the fuck was going on. Yeah, I was like, this is crazy. But yeah, I mean, fuck, didn't skate for that shit. Pretty much. It only lasted like literally like I don't think anybody would know that like what I'm even talking about. This is just like just some close friends know the story. But yeah, that was the most vibed out I've ever gotten in my life, easily. And I was like, whoa, dude. And it wasn't by the team. It was by like the owners and shit. It was weird, dude. I was like, whoa. 2000 asks, what's your favorite video game? Super Smash Brothers. It's the funnest video game ever. All of them. I played on the GameCube a lot. That one was fucking beast. But, I mean, dude, all of them. I played the new one with my brother whenever I'm home, and like, I don't have like one of those Nintendos, so I don't really like get to play it, but like that game just goes off with anybody. Like you could have fucking 8 people sitting right here and like just pass the controller around. Like you could fucking have a great time with all your friends playing that game. El Barto asks, if you could switch places with the skater and do one trick or line of theirs from a video, who would it be and what trick and line? This is a very insignificant line, but I've always liked it, and it just looked... Everything about it was so sick. Ryan Lay in the Welcome video, it's on this rail in Arizona that he always skates. Everybody always skates. It's like he does like a 3 flip and he doesn't push, and he nollie nose grinds this rail. It's like a square rail, but he's got like this open button shirt on, and like the colors look sick, and he's hauling ass, and the bricks just sound cool, and like I just like how he lands a 3 flip, and he doesn't even really need to set up much. He's like just ready to do this nollie nose grind on this rail, and I just every time I watch the part, I'll play it back just at that line because I like it so much. It's very insignificant. I'm sure nobody's like even gonna remember instantly which line I'm talking about, but I want to be Ryan Lay at that moment when he did that because it looked like it felt great. Yadig asks, what's a good story about the Grons crew? I've only been on one Grons trip. One night we went out and there was almost like a brawl in the street. It was pretty fucking insane when I was with all those guys. We were in France, Max's hometown. One of Max's like homies from there, like his girl was like DJing at this club or like bar or wherever the fuck. And we went out. Dude, there's a lot of us. It was like me, Deeds, Callum, KB, K White, Max, Eunice, Fred. Dude, there were so many of us. And then like a couple local dudes like from that area that were like showing us around. So we had at least 10 people. And we were all at this bar. There were like these 2 like big jockey looking motherfuckers. And like whatever, we're in there and like fools are just, I think everybody was just like dancing and like, you know, drinking whatever. Nobody was really doing anything to cause trouble. We were all just like having a good time. And then they closed, so we all left. And then I remember these dudes were just like shouting shit at us, and like I don't know what the fuck they're saying, but Max was getting all like irritated with them, and he's like, "Oh, fuck these guys! Like, let's just fucking go this way, like whatever, fuck those dudes," you know. And I don't think they really. I think they maybe had they were beefing with like maybe Max or like one of us, but they didn't realize how many of us there were. So like they're like, "Oh, fuck this dude, probably," or, you know, whatever. Like, "Oh, fuck you, whatever." And like they go that way, we go that way. And then we like turn the corner and we're like, oh yeah, the car's that way. So we like end up taking like almost a huge circle, and we like go back around to where the van was. And right when we walk, like we go into this parking lot where the van is, and those 2 dudes are just right there. Just like, I don't know, like by chance, I don't know where they were like coming from or where they were going, but like they were just standing in the parking lot, just those 2 dudes. And me and Deeds looked at each other and we're like, these dudes are about to get the shit beat out of them. Like, because there's so many, and like there's no way that they realized like when they were talking shit at the bar that there was this many of us or whatever. So like they were saying all this shit and none of us knew what they were saying, and like Max was just getting so like they were just like raising their voices at each other, like shouting and shit, and like all of us just like were behind Max, like, all right, what do we do? You know, what the fuck's going on? And these dudes are way bigger than him, so we're like, fuck, like I remember Max took his shirt off, and once Max took his shirt off, I was like, I've never seen him get like this fired up about anything. Eunice is trying to separate it, and like Callan came in and just like fucking socked one of them. They saw all of us like kind of huddled in, like, like, is this actually happening? And I think they all kind of backed up, and then like the one dude kind of like was like, oh shit, all these dudes are about to hit us, you know? And like they were like, all right, yeah, like whatever, like fuck you guys, and like just ended up leaving. But like, yeah, it was just like two jocks just wanted to like fight Max or something, and it like would have been like a brawl in this parking lot. Yeah, it was about to get really crazy for sure. And like fools grabbed skateboards out of the trunk and shit. Like, no, like we like some of the dudes we were with like grabbed their boards out of the trunk, and I was like, dude, this shit's about to get crazy. Like, oh my god, you know. But like Callan was the only one that like actually hit anybody. But like I think, and I asked him later, I was like, dude, like what made you want to hit him? He was like, I don't know, I was just tired of hearing him like talk. Like I was just tired of hearing all that shit. And I was just like, yeah, fuck. I mean, I feel you, you know. But yeah, that was like just one of the nights we went out. Those dudes love to have a good time. Oh yeah, what's the key to landing in a nose manual? Fuck. Like when I think about people asking like how to land in a nose manual, I'm thinking like over some shit. But if we're talking like just a regular manual pad, for sure, I think it helps to consciously pop it higher than like you would. Like if you're gonna kickflip nose manual, don't try and just like kickflip just the height of the manual pad. Maybe like kickflip like above it, or like same with like switch nose manual. So many people have asked me like, how do you switch nose manual like good? I always like hang up, and I'm like, you gotta like switch ollie strong and then like come down in a nose manual. Like, and it's the same idea with like kind of anything to a nose manual. I think is you just want to like come down straight on it, like come down as straight down as you can, not like just paddle it up there, or like just barely make it, you know, because that just makes it harder, because then you're trying to like stand up while you're manualing, and like I don't know, there's just more to it rather than, I mean, in some cases it doesn't work like that if it's tall, but you know, on like just a regular manual, like if you're going to go to Cherry and try a kickflip nose manual, it's like you want to kickflip probably a decent height above it, so you come down and then it's just like you're not reaching so hard for the nose, you're kind of like, oh, you can place it however you want to place it, you know? Yeah, I feel like if anything, doing manuals over shit has helped me get better at doing it like on regular manual pads, because it's like you can learn how to pop it higher. You can learn how to like what the feeling of the make is going to feel like. Like if you're above, you like if you catch a kickflip above like over a can or something and you're about to come down, you have so much time to like kind of readjust your weight and like get ready to go to nose mani. So I feel like it helps you like with your reactions. Like you can kind of adjust yourself quicker by like just fucking around doing that shit on flat or doing it anywhere. I've learned so many manual tricks just from doing it on the ground. Like so many. Like a lot of the more tech ones I've done, like I just start with doing them on the ground, and then I'm like, oh, if I could find a manual pad like this high, I could probably do it. And then like you start with one this high, and then you end up doing it on a regular, and you're like, oh, I guess I can just do that trick. Because it's so discouraging if you went to a manual pad and you're just like trying like a nollie tray at it, and you're just not getting up it, and you're just like, well, like I can't do this trick. But it's like if you start on the ground, nollie tray nose manual on the ground, you're like, oh, well, I have the like skill.
Like you would already pop it that high.
Yeah, then you're just learning how to like link the two things together, because you're like, all right, I have the skill to do it. I can do it on the ground, which is like the trick. I just need to like link the two things. How do I get up there with it, you know? But manuals are weird, dude. Like I could sit here and tell you how to fucking do a manual and then go to Cherry right now and struggle with like there's days where it takes me like 20 fucking tries to switch manual that thing, you know? Like it's just weird. Like I don't know, it's all, if there's so many things. I've had it where I feel like my bearings will fuck me up sometimes. My bearings feel old. Like I'll have like that tugging feeling a lot, and then I'm like, dude, what the fuck is going on? And I'll come home and like put new wheels and bearings on. Like yeah, and I feel like having new trucks helps too. Like I don't, maybe like stiffer pivot cups or something, or like bushings. Like just having a stiffer truck, like you can just stand there and stay, and like there's no teetering, there's no. Yeah, I guess newer bushings probably, because when your bushings are all fucked, it's like it's harder to. Yeah, your trucks are just all fucked. But I'm like one of the only people I know that likes new completes, because it'll like make manualing easier. I'm like, dude, because it's so steady, everything. Yeah, right. It's like. And all my friends are like rail skaters, so like, dude, all my grooves or like whatever. I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck. I'll just go crook a ledge. I'll go fucking like, you know what I mean? Like, Yeah, they're like worried about like sacking a rail if they don't have their
Yeah.
grooves, and I'm just like, whatever, dude. I just like skate ledges and shit. But yeah, dude. Thanks for submitting your questions, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. Later. Slap all you guys.